My name is Peter Nightingale. I'm a professor of physics at the University of Rhode Island, which means that I have no formal qualifications whatsoever to have any real opinion about this, other than that I have an informal education, which happens because I have dinner with my wife. And my wife has been a drug and alcohol counselor for many, many years, starting in the women's prison, then working for a Providence Center, and she retired from the Kent Center. And as we all know, inequality breeds drug addiction, which you saw every day. It breeds abuse, sexual abuse, other kinds of violence. Ultimately, in many cases, it leads to suicide. That's inequality. So we're not going to solve all the problems with this one bill as long as inequality is there. And we may think that that's a difficult problem. Well, my opinion is that it's a quite simple problem. How do you get rid of inequality? You tax the top. You bring back the tax structure that existed in the 1950s. That's not what's in this bill. I realize it, but I can't keep myself from mentioning that it's ultimately not that difficult. Anyway, in talking to my wife, three things came up that were problems when her clients were finding no place to live. That takes decades of your life if you're homeless. We all know that. So there are three things that I will address. One is process, the other is standards, and the third is discrimination. And all of those, in some form or another, have come up, but I'd like to go through them very quickly without losing too much time in view of the time. So process, well, you come and you show up with a Section 8 voucher. The landlord might say, that takes too long, I have to deal with all this bureaucracy. Who wants to deal with that? Well, that's pretty obvious. Then there is the issue of standards that have been addressed quite a bit. Well, there is an important matter. We have to make sure that there are no houses that are substandard. It's a matter of enforcement that goes along with this bill. It's not specifically a part of this bill. Then there is the issue of discrimination. Well, I'm sure that the discrimination happens in every way in which discrimination can happen, but most of that, as we all know, is discrimination of the basis of color. I think I'm going to leave it with that one final comment. Senator Metz, I'm here because I'm a member of DARE, and if DARE says we need to support some legislation, I try to come if I can. So thank you for doing this, and thanks DARE for alerting me, and thank you all for your time.
Thank you. Thank you, Peter. Any questions for this witness?